What up? What up, my guys? Welcome to another show, man. NBA Talk with Jay. I don't think we live just yet, but it'll pop up here pretty soon. What's up, my guys? Shark. Coming off, it's a rough day yesterday, my guys. Sixers ended up getting done. The Jazz, guys, I had stopped watching the game. My guy Shark had to let me know what happened in the game. Shark, what's up with you guys? Everything good with you?
Yeah, excellent. And we always say, be present. That little back door has been long gone in my mind. I hope people can do that. I know some people let it linger for way longer than it should. Of course, -3.5 did get pretty disgustingly backdoored last night in that Jazz game. I was disgusted with the entire thing to watch. The final minute in and of itself, when you're up by 8 points with 55 seconds to go, you should not be not covering a -3.5, -3. Basically, every single point has to go against you. You have to have a weird sequence where somehow you also don't get any foul shots either. So just the way the deficit was with the time, and the Clippers wanted to get the final possession and not give them another shot to win it in regulation, theoretically, led to the backdoor. And I made a comment on Twitter. I really do hope people take some responsibility, and I should say opportunity as well, to play in-game sides responsibly. Because sometimes, and again, this is not throwing 10 units on every freaking NBA game on a Wednesday night, but sometimes in the playoffs, like you see the number one seed come out noticeably flat off a 6-day layover, they're going to come back. And it was a shooting percentage outlier. So there were a lot of great in-game sides. And I posted it, I personally had a couple of those, and I did not lose money on the game. So I don't want to come on here and I was making the comment. Oftentimes people message you and I and say, like, how'd you guys do this week? You were 1-4 on your picks, and I want to just make that point. There's a lot of things we do off the record that are really important to capping professionally long term, which is noticing in-game sides in a really good way. But that being said, we are on to Winning Wednesday, June 9th, 2021. One game on the card, and Jay, I would say, where do you want to begin? But I think that is a rhetorical question.
Yeah, just one game today. Now, I want to touch on the in-game betting, guys, because I know some people, there's probably half the people that maybe like this. If you're betting online and you're betting, legally or whatever, you should be able to bet in game. I can't say as far as the playoffs, sometimes you can get a lot better line no matter. So just take a game one, the Suns versus the Nuggets, right? The Nuggets had a 10-point lead at one point in the game. Then the Suns come back. So, you could have got Suns at plus money in that one. You could have got the Suns pretty much whatever. You're watching the game, you notice the momentum. It's like I say, it's really tough to give out in-game bets unless we go in here and do a live show while the game is going, which, I can't watch the game if I'm doing the show here, so it's not something that I really like to do. But as far as even sending them out, we have to put the play in first, then you send it out. It's definitely been a change since then, my guys. So, but yeah, I was mad at myself because Jazz were at plus 170, probably higher than that on the money line. When I stopped watching the game, they were down by 11, 13 points. The money line was at plus 170, my guys. So you can definitely make some money in game. So I wouldn't talk anybody out of just waiting. Not even betting pregame, and then try to find you a line, whatever side you like. Say, skill, like, all right, if this gets up to this on this side or one side or another, then that's my buy point. So you can really make a bunch of money in playing. You possibly could get in plays or plus money on both sides, my guys. But yeah, let's get to it. Just one game today. Obviously, unfortunately, will be a quick show. Maybe talk some basketball at the end of the show like we did yesterday, man. But just one game, man. Nuggets. This line opened up at 6. It's down to 5. I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of surprised, Shark, that this line has come down to 5.5. Not saying that I wouldn't take the Denver side, but obviously, I expected to be a lot more money on the Suns here. I thought, if anything, the money would be pushing Suns up from the 6 to 6.5, and then instead we've seen it come back the other way. At some of the sharpest books, I'm actually seeing the 5.5 juice, to be honest with you. So could possibly even go down to 5 at some of the sharper books that I look at. The total is actually went the other way. 221.5 is went up to 223. I'm guessing they saying Denver, the Nuggets in theory may have a better game here, and the pace would go up. What do you think about that, my guy?
Yeah, I'm not sure, honestly. When you do look at where the line opened, it did open at 5.5, 6, I believe, and the last game opened at 4.5. And we've been talking about this all playoffs with the Suns. Where the Suns open does tell a damn good story. Lakers series, every single time the line opened in a different environment, it moved to that direction. When it moved towards the Suns, they covered. When it moved towards the Lakers covered and won. And the Lakers won 2 games in that series. And I think you're seeing a similar environment here tonight. They're just telling you, in my opinion here, that this is going to continue going in the direction of the number 2 seed in the West. And I think when people look at Denver, it's very easy to be deceived by what Denver did against Portland. We talked about this the other day. Portland is not the Phoenix Suns. Portland is Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, and I think CJ McCollum is becoming more pedestrian in terms of a championship conversation by the game. And some really just, slightly above average role players. And Phoenix is ultra class. And when you really do look at this, when Denver bounced back in the first round off losses, because I think that's definitely a narrative point people would say to take Denver here. They haven't lost 2 in a row in the playoffs. They do bounce back very well. One thing I would say on that, which I do think is interesting, those bounce back games have come at home. They lost game 1 at home, and then they bounced back in their home stadium at altitude with the fans to win game 2. Then they lost game 4 in Portland, came home for a integral game 5, again in front of raucous, angry, loud, altitude-driven fans, and won again. This is a vastly different environment to back up a loss staying in the desert versus a much more difficult opponent, and I think the environment shifts tonight. I'm going to be sprinkling. I'm probably not going big, but I am going to be playing Phoenix -5.5 here.
Gotcha. And I couldn't talk you off. One key point was crazy that game 1 actually did open up at 5.5, guys. So just let you know the game 1 did open up at 5.5. It actually went down to 4.5. It was actually pretty surprising to me. But yeah, the Suns actually did open up high in that game 1. It was surprising for me to see that it even came down like the initial one. If I'm not mistaken, it actually opened up at 6. The first game actually opened up at 6, got bet down to 4.5. So in all honesty, it was pretty surprising to me, but those are the facts. But regardless, the Suns are the bet. I mean, I'm not going to say clear cut, but they are the better team. Obviously, the Nuggets have more playoff experience. Their coach is more experienced in these particular situations, more battle tested. But at some point, they will start to miss Jamal Murray and the rest of their guards. They still don't have PJ Dozier. Barton's pretty close to coming back, but he's not back yet quite. Maybe for game 3, he should probably be in there. Likely the Nuggets go down 0-2 and come back to the house with a must-win game. I could see Barton suiting up for that one. But and Michael Porter Jr., his back isn't 100% as well. Yeah. So a lot of points here. I must say I can see Suns taking a 2-0 lead here. I mean, people could be backing on the Nuggets to bounce back here. Another thing, Jokic just won MVP. Some people were DMing me like, hey, you think the Nuggets going to win tonight because he won MVP? I mean, if they do win tonight, it won't likely be because of that. They'll have to play a lot better defensive game the way I'm looking at this game. I watched the first game. If you're looking at the Nuggets in the first quarter, I mean, they had the lead, if not mistaken, at the end of the first quarter and the first half. I know they were up at the end of the first half. It's like, hey, the Nuggets can hang with these boys. Obviously, the Suns in the second half really put it on them. The Suns are going to play really good defense. It's up to the Nuggets, in my opinion, to come in here and play a better defensive game. I'm leaning towards the under here. If I'm gonna sprinkle some today, I think I'm gonna sprinkle some on this under today, my guy. Even though the line's coming up, I like for a defensive type game tonight. And if the Nuggets want to stay close, you have to try and slow this game down and guard the perimeter better.
Yeah, and another point, I think we don't know truthfully how much the average person has watched the NBA going back 30 years, and I say that specifically. 30 years, because trends in playoff series are very important. And Jay, you were on the record going on to the very beginning of the playoffs saying you expected to dominate the playoffs because of those trends within series. And it hasn't gone that direction because of numerous points, new teams, really just teams we've never seen before. I think the previous series, Denver versus Portland, is a perfect example of that. The games were all over the place. There was no continuity in those games really at all. That being said, and I'm looking at the chat, people saying that, there's no way Denver going down 0-2 on the road to a top seed is normal. Like, you're not supposed to go into a 1 or a 2 seed and steal a game in the second round. I mean, I'm telling you, go back and watch 80s, 90s, 2000. 2-0 at home for a top seed is standard business. Jay, would you not agree?
Yeah, like you say, this is a different year, and it's not necessarily. I'm
talking about historically, just so people have a snapshot that it's not like something where you expect the 4 or the 5 to just go into a 1 seed and steal a game. It's not. You're expecting the 5 or the 4, bro, are supposed to lose the series 4-1. They're supposed to win desperation game 3 at home, and that's it. Generally speaking.
Yeah, what you're saying is this top seed here is supposed to go up 2-0, which I
Yeah.
mean, obviously they're the favorite here. So one guy in the chat made a really good point that the Nuggets did only have 6 free throw attempts. Obviously it does scare me if there are more whistles blown today. They could, I mean, because the first game went over with them barely shooting any free throws. It's not. I watched the game. I don't think that it was necessarily reffed a certain type of way, anything like that. I mean, obviously the Nuggets were up 10 and they end up losing by double digits, almost 20 points. So even though they only got 6, they still played a good game in the first half. That is a good point though by a guy in the chat there. If they get more free throw attempts here, they could translate to an over or just simply a better Nuggets game as well. Like I say, I'm not so bullish on the Suns. I know some people saying, hey, it's going to be a sweep. It's going to be 1-2-3 Cancun. I'm not one to say that. I do think that the Nuggets can win the game here. Not sure if it's going to be here. It's gonna be a really good game. Be interesting to see because look, Chris Paul, he's not really injured anymore. He's pretty much 100%. He's back to the scoring. Chris Paul, it's gonna be a tough game, my guys. I must say.
And a couple other points. I mean, I talk about it all the time, but with Chris Paul, Chris Paul has an incredible grip over the mental makeup of this group, and he's not going to let them be flat at home. He's not like he's lost too many series with the Clippers going back to the Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan days to know that every game matters. I mean, they were up 3-1 against the Rockets and blew it to James Harden. If anybody knows about not just throwing a game randomly, not giving full effort in the playoffs, it is Chris Paul 100%. And I mean, we were looking back at the Lakers series, and I think it was very similar-minded people who kept saying, "You're back in the Suns again?" No, the Lakers, it's AD and LeBron. It's like, it's Jokic, he's MVP. It's like, guys, it's team basketball. Sometimes these teams just are on one. And this is where Chris Paul is in his career. Chris Paul would comfortably win every series 4-0 if he could. And if you look back at the previous series, when they had beaten the Lakers, they came home. Jay, you remember this in Game 5? And everybody was like, oh, they're coming off of a high. They just won. Lakers going in here, going to steal Game 5. The Suns came out and were up 30 points in the first half. Like, the Suns can back up success with more success. Trust me. They're not, like, just going to this is not like a zigzag team. I think this team is just on a tour here.
Exactly. I'll be honest with you. I hope the Suns win this one by double digits, so I can get on the Nuggets in Game 3, my guys. So I'll likely, especially from a side standpoint, I'll definitely be sitting. I will watch this game closely, but I hope that the Nuggets can have a good enough game, but still don't cover the spread. Or I just need them to lose. They go down 0-2 at the house. It'll be the real buy spot for the Nuggets, in my opinion. They have the altitude that bodes well in their favor. Really good home court advantage there. So I can't wait. I do think that the Nuggets can hang with the Suns. Obviously, in Phoenix will be a different. That crowd over there is just wild, man. Whenever they got the momentum, it was really tough for the Nuggets to try and steal the momentum back. I mean, we know when the momentum's going against you, you hit a couple tough shots and then you shut the crowd up. Not the Suns, my guys. Not the crowd over there. The boys, they hadn't been in the playoffs in a while. They're ready. And I can't tell you though. So Jokic, I don't even think he had a free throw attempt. That's not good. Monte Morris, he didn't have a good game. So there's some guys for the Nuggets that will likely come in here and play better. That is a little bit scary. Like I say, I do think that the Nuggets are, despite popular belief, I do think that they can hang with the Suns. Not necessarily win the series, but I do think they could take it to at least 6. This is a veteran team. They are missing Murray, but Jokic has shown he can put the team on his back. It's just all about him. You got to definitely drive him to the hole more, try to get some more foul calls, my guy. But it's definitely going to be a good game. What I saw from Game 1 was that the bench. When the bench comes in, that's when the Nuggets really have the advantage, in my opinion. Obviously, you got guys like Cameron Payne, Cam Johnson for the Suns, but they're mainly out there for defense. And Payne, he's been more of a scorer here lately, but mainly they are defensive type guys. It's going to be a really good game, one-off game. Obviously, everybody will be betting this one. You say you're sprinkling on the Suns, my guy?
Yeah, and I think that, again, just looking at the environments here, I do think it's important to look at the first series. And I just said it, but I'll say it again. When they bounced back, those were at home, both of them. They have not won a road game off of a loss. And we see it in the regular season, too, like where teams are on the road, they're on a road trip, and they'll cluster a few losses in a row. It's totally different than you drop a game in your home gym, and then you have a home game with your crowd, or you lose a game on the road, and then you come back, you're at the house, you always say, you get some home cooking, you get in your zone. I think staying on the road is a very interesting point here where you can't just say, oh, they bounced back in round 1. This is what they do. I think this is enough of an environmental shift here. And And yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much on that game.
Got you. Hey, anything else you want to talk about? Let's talk some basketball, man. What you seeing in basketball world? What are you liking, my guy? Like,
Well,
what do you think last night, bro? Not talking about the Wendell Larson thing, but just the Jazz starting out shooting all those damn threes, bro. What do you think about that, man?
Well, actually, funny that you said that because I think Phoenix might come out with a better effort here in the first half tonight. Phoenix did not cover the first quarter or the first half in the same environment off of a layoff. They've been off for like 5 days. Jazz have been off for 6 days. And I think, again, like I just said, you can't expect a lower seeded team to go in and steal one of the 2 games. Like, you should expect them to go down 0-2. I think just like you said with the Jazz, theoretically, that was a good little fade spot in the first half. They are a highly dependent 3-ball team, and they came out like historically awful.
Oh my God. You know what's so crazy though? If they were hitting, this is the thing, bro. It's why I say it. Steph Curry changed the game for better or worse. If you're hitting the threes, you're gonna blow the shit out of them real quick. And it was also very noted that the Jazz were only down 7 after them playing so terribly and the Clippers playing so well. Like that should be alarming. That's when it comes into the live bid. Like that all you need is a little bit of shooting regression for the Jazz or them to make a few of those shots and keep defending, like Donovan Mitchell said. And they're gonna come back and win it with ease, kind of. So I mean, you see them get up by 10 there, it just kind of piss it away. But it's just so crazy to me that. I know, like I said, I'm a basketball player. I keep saying it over and over again because I kind of use this psychology to the end of the day. When you're shooting threes like that and you're not making them, you kind of have to realize, like, all right, I need to get into the paint. Because if you get into the paint, get into the foul line or whatever, you make each shot, see the ball go through the hoop, then it's like it expands. Like it's like the hole gets bigger or something. It's now I'm shooting from 3, whatever. So it's just to be honest though, I hated to see it. It was. I don't know what it's like when you're watching a 3-point contest, man. Turn that shit off. I'm watching a movie.
Yeah, I mean, that whole thing you just said about seeing the ball go in the hoop, that's real talk. I mean, you remember when Kevin Garnett was the first guy that would swat the ball when guys would shoot after the whistle.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, because I don't want them to see the ball go in the hoop.
Exactly.
And I never know how many people in the chat have watched again for 30 or 40 years or just started betting yesterday. But Kevin Garnett, really, going back to 2006, 7, 8, I mean, he was a dog. I mean, he was one of the guys in the 90s that came straight out of high school, actually, to the Timberwolves, and was a very unfortunate to play with a lackluster franchise for over a decade. And of course, he gets moved over to Boston. But I mean, he was really one of those guys where he literally was so focused on the nuances of basketball where he's like, no, fuck this guy. He's not going to get a free look after the whistle. Blocking the shot. And now guys do it all the time. You see guys do it all the time. But KG started.
Yeah. I believe that was the first time the Nets tried to build a super team as well when they got KG. They got Kevin Garnett. They got Paul Pierce. The shit went. No. Listen to me. After that, they traded. They made this massive trade to the this is when they first got the Nets, right?
Yeah,
this is when Jay-Z with them. They got Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett. They had Joe Johnson. They had Darren Williams. Some other guys as well, literally trying to do what they have right now with KD and Kyrie and the shit went horribly because everybody was just too old then. But no, that was right after the Celtics. That's when they lost with the Celtics in the they won the championship or whatever. What was it? 2009, right? 2008, yeah. So I think 2009 they lost the next year. After that, they split the team up. Whatever. Paul Pierce them got traded. But now I was just saying that was the first time the Nets really tried to build like a little super team.
I remember that.
It actually went horribly wrong, man. Shit was crazy, man. No, I just like come on here and talk some more. Only one game today, so just wanted to come on here and talk some basketball, my guy.
Yeah,
you introduce a little early looks for tomorrow, my guy. What do you think about them? You talk about line skill and stuff. What do you think about these boys putting the Bucks at -3.5, -3, my guy? And do you think it'll be Nets sweep? It's simply put, if you think the Nets will sweep this one, you take the Nets. If you don't think so, and you think the Bucks will win the game, then you take the Bucks, my guys. What you thinking in this one?
I would lean Bucks. I would. Just as much as I said that I thought Brooklyn would handle them at home twice when people thought they would bounce back. I think the Bucks tomorrow, this is do or die. I mean, obviously, it is do or die, but I think the Bucks are a professional group, and they're not just going to lay down 4 in a row. I really think so. 3.5 is a very good number too when you look at it. That's a huge jump.
It's coming down. It can't. It came down to 3, but I can tell you one thing, and I'll pull up the stats. I'll have the stats ready for tomorrow. Historically, teams down 0-2 come back to the house in the first half. It's like Like you'll probably see them -2, -2.5 on the first half, even with a -3 full game. If they're going to come out with anything, they won't come out down and have to come back and win the game. They'll have to come out in first quarter, first half. I'll tell you that right now. If the Bucks are going to show anything, it'll be first quarter. And I always say, if they don't come out in their first quarter, they will get their ass smacked and go down 0-3. So if you think they're going to win the game, you have to think that they're going to start out early with some juice here, come out with some type of intensity, motivation, and smack. They might have some Smack City shirts on, my guys. But yeah, that's the only way that I could look, my guy. Maybe another under spot is. I don't know about the Nets though.
Yeah, particularly with how awful they came out in the last game too. I mean, we talked about it going back in the regular season where teams make that adjustment, but it's also really something they talk about. I mean, in that locker room, they're going to say, guys, like, what are we doing? Like, we come out down, 20 points. The game's over against Brooklyn. It's just pathetic. But again, that's kind of just to correlate it back to what I was saying. Excuse me. Tonight in excuse me. We're not talking about gambling, so I can't. But what we're talking about against in Phoenix tonight. That was the same thing for Milwaukee and Brooklyn, right? They had lost game 1. They had to hang out in New York for a night, and people, not everybody, but some people certainly thought bounce back spot. Not at all. It's tough to bounce back on the road in the same environment against a top team. And that does kind of bring us back to that. But I think it's very similar for Denver tonight. You lose, you're still hanging out in the desert. I mean, there's no movement here. But yeah, no, I do think tomorrow, early look for sure. I think first quarter. And it was kind of like what we saw last night in the first game where it was the first quarter with Philly. Just the starters take it on themselves to really come out and set the tone.
You know what? Let's talk about that. What happened? What's up with that, bro? They came out, they had 0. It was so interesting to see that the 76ers starting 5 was so much better than the Hawks starting 5. But their bench was so much worse. They had 0. Obviously, they had Shake Milton come out. It's like they had to have a talk. Yeah. Doc Rivers like, look, I'll pay you extra $500K, bro. I need some points off the bench. Then obviously Milton goes out and have a huge second half, 11 huge points in my opinion. But their first half, 0 bench points for the Sixers. And that's likely why they tanked that first half. I mean, if you had Sixers first half, yes, sir, I'm praying for you. Literally, it's so tough. You get up 20 points easily, and they just lose it. But it was because the Hawks' out bench was superiorly outplaying the 76ers bench. What do you think about that, my guy?
No, 100%, 100%. I had actually said to somebody off the record the first quarter was the best spot because again, you want to attach to one of the units. And the starters had gotten so outplayed in game 1 in the first quarter. The Hawks were up 42-27 coming out of the gate. So you knew they were going to take that personally. And they did. And then, of course, you do see the quality gap. Shake Milton obviously went the hell off in the second half. But, they were useless in the first half. And Atlanta is notably deep. I mean, Atlanta has one of the deepest second units in the league. They are good. And, as a secondary point, this team is going to be there. Like I said, with Memphis going forward, they're deep, they're young. Atlanta's deep and young. They're going to be here to stay. They're a good unit. I like them a lot.
Exactly. Yeah, no, them boys some ballers, and we had to keep ever since Nate McMillan took over. It's been one of the best teams in the league. Just look at the numbers, look at their defense, offense, their record. This guy, he really turned the team over. And just think where they would be if he had from the get-go, ever since the get-go. So, I always say it, guys. The grass is not green on the other side. You see it from the Pacers firing their coach this morning. Get this guy the fuck out of here. I saw it midway through the season. This guy is not a coach. He's not the coach for this team. He's not connecting with his guys. Then you see later TJ Warren come out like, you know what? Just put me down for that surgery. Season ending. You know what? Put me down for that shit, man. I'll be out for the season. Appreciate you boys, man.
Oh, for ending.
Sign me that paycheck. Yeah. TJ Warren out for the I'm just saying the coach. We can't forget the Pacers fired Nate McMillan. They didn't think he was good enough. Oh, you can't get us. He'd take them to the playoffs, and then they wouldn't win. You're facing better teams. You're going up there facing guys like LeBron James and shit. You know what I'm saying? For the Heat, he was good. We can take it all the way back to Paul George stuff. The guy he did a good job over there in Indiana, continuously make them go to the playoffs. They just couldn't really get to the next level. What do? They get a new coach out there. Okay, now let's see what happens. You won't make the playoffs at all. So you were happy about not getting past the first or second round. Now you won't make it at all, my guy. Grass isn't always green on the other side.
And speaking of that, Indiana next year, if they make a coaching change, they will be a great buy team in the regular season.
They will.
They were so below their expectancy this regular season. Of course, they had injuries. T.J. Warren, Miles Turner was out for a while, a couple other guys. But, I mean, really, that team totally underachieved. For them not to even make the playoffs, I mean, come on, man. There's no shot that they should be hovering around like Charlotte and whatnot.
Right. Jeremy Martinez says they should make a 4-pointer by the emblem. No, they're this big 3 basketball, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't disagree. Like if Steph Curry can like pull up consistently from like backcourt,
bro, this shit. Oh no, the game would be even more messed up, my guy.
So ridiculous.
Oh no, hell no. I would not watch. I'm not gonna even start. There's no way in hell. You know what? I can't wait for football season. Because I know that them boys gonna be playing hard. It ain't gonna be no, he out. He resting. He resting. Yeah. You got a whole week, my guy. But you will get those injuries, the mid-game injuries that you can't cap. It's like, quarterback went down. You what the it's tough. Yeah, now we finna get it. We finna get out of here. Now we'll be talking some NFL, my guy. I really sometimes I might have a conversation with my guy Shark, like, you know what, fuck it, let's just go live and have a conversation, you know what I'm saying, with everybody, man. Fuck it, just because, my guy. So let's do it. Jay, the refs starting to make it not even worth to cap. Yeah, it's fucking refs, man. Oh boy. Yeah, I can't say though. I know the Nuggets. I might have to look towards some props tonight because these guys didn't get to the free throw line at all. I don't think Jokic had a single free throw attempt. I might have to look at some Jokic props here. In all honesty, my guys, to. It's different. It's always different ways you can attack the game. Obviously, waiting to live bet it as well. I mean, you got the Suns here +6, +5.5. You watch the game, see if the Suns come out. If you like the Nuggets, Suns come out hot and even build a 4 or 5, 6 point lead. You're gonna get a +10 on the live line, +9. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying. I'm not saying don't bet the game pregame. I'm just saying a lot of times you can't find better value in-game betting, whether it's money line or it's the spread, my guys. Unfortunately, you do have to pay juice sometimes -115, -120 sometimes, but they know that these are their better spots likely in-game. That's why they juice them up, my guys. So it's just a theory. I couldn't talk to anybody. I was trying to look at some props as well today. Obviously, 2 games tomorrow. We will be back. Kind of already gave you a preview, but obviously we have another game as well. Nothing official yet, but what you liking today, Shark?
Playing half unit as current for Phoenix -5.5. I want to take the first half, but I didn't like the line. The line was short. It was -2.5 on a 5.5. I wanted it at 3.5. The weighting they're saying is that Denver, again, doesn't always go that direction, but I do think based on all the aforementioned points, people that just joined, of course, please go back. I say click it for ticket. The first 5 minutes, we drop all the knowledge. And we love to do it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And we will be back tomorrow. J Money, close them out.
Yes, sir. We're back, man. Like I say, I want to lean to the under here. I do think the Nuggets will play a better defensive game. The fact, you guys know I'm not a total expert. The fact that and I think that, in all honesty, I think that this will be a defensive series, guys. Suns are a really great team defense type of team. The Nuggets tried to speed them up the last game. To be honest with you, they didn't have any pretty much. I think they had 6 free throw attempts for the whole game. So I must say that doesn't necessarily translate well to the under here, because the fact that it went over last game with them getting to the line so less, they will get more free throw attempts here. Obviously Jokic will likely get more free throw attempts as well, but I don't care. I still think that it will be a defensive type game, guys. It's not official for me. I will try to look for some in game, but I have a heavy lean to the under, and I couldn't talk anybody off Suns as well. They do look like the clear-cut better team. I will look for a Nugget spot in game 3. But so I guess I'm rooting for Suns. I'm always rooting for my guy Sharp, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm always rooting for him. I likely ride with him as well, my guy. So leaning Suns and under for me. I need the Nuggets to get smacked up so I can take them in game 3. But don't get it twisted. I do think that the Nuggets can hang with this team. I don't think it's just going to be easy. It's not going to be a sweep. It's not like a lot of after game 1. Everybody turns into geniuses. Oh, it's going to be a sweep. Oh, the Nuggets have absolutely nothing for it. I'm not going to go that far. Right? Don't be surprised. The Nuggets, they can't hang with them. Just maybe not in this game 2 here. I do think game 3, you will see one of their best games of the series, my guys. We'll be back tomorrow. 2 more games tomorrow. Just a quick show today. Talking some basketball with you guys, man, like we always do. Hit the like button, subscribe, go and follow us on Twitter, my guys. My guy at Shark and Sports on Twitter. I'm at J Money is Money. We appreciate everybody for watching. Like and subscribe, and we gone, my guys.